Hello, good evening, and thanks so much for joining us. This is the news live on GBC24. We are also live on Ghana television. My name is Akpene Avo Ajajam. We start off from the Ashanti region, and Muslim leaders are asking all political party leaders and their supporters to avoid violence and confusion as their campaign for the highest office of the land warms up. They remind us all that elections are not about war and bloodshed, but rather peaceful and civil process to elect leaders to govern the nation. These were sentiments by Muslim leaders when the CPP flag bearer, Mr. Ivor Greenstreet, called on them at the Central Mosque in Kumasi during his tour of the Ashanti region.
The CPP flag bearer Ivor Greenstreet interacted with the Muslim leaders at the Kumasi Central Mosque. He introduced himself officially to members of the Islamic faith and solicited their prayers and support in the upcoming general elections. Present were the Council of Zongo Chiefs and Council of Imams and Ulama in the Ashanti region. Mr. Greenstreet explained the purpose of his tour.
We are on a journey. That journey we are on, we have called it Apam Fufro. We believe we need a new covenant with the people of Ghana. And the reason why we need a new covenant with the people of Ghana is because everywhere we go, they tell us that they are no longer happy with the behavior of politicians. And they think that politicians are only there to serve their own self-interest.
On behalf of the Muslim leaders, the Sakin Zongo Sheikh Abdul Mumin Harun called on all in the country's electoral process, especially the political parties, not to use intemperate language in order to maintain the prevailing peace in the country before, during and after the polls. He said individuals who represent the various political parties have a duty to promote national unity and social order while advancing the image and ideals of their parties. From the Kumasi Central Mosque, the CPP flag bearer went through Alaba, a predominantly Muslim neighborhood in Kumasi, to the Central Market area to greet and interact with CPP members and sympathizers. Mr. Greenstreet also met with party faithful and persons with disability at the Teachers' Hall. He celebrated with a gathering and canvassed for their support to become Ghana's next president.
When Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah came, they did not talk about houses or cars or money. He left with something far greater, a memory in the hearts and minds of Ghanaians. The record of the NDC is doom, 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 doom. We will offer our policies, our programs, our ideas, our perspectives, which we believe are the prescriptions for the sick nation that we are trying to cure. Sick from deceit, sick from dislies, sick from unemployment, and sick for no opportunity to the people of this nation.
The CPP flag bearer stressed on the need for an overhaul of the strategies for Ghana's economic development. He said although there is some level of economic growth, this is not reflected in employment generation. And while there is growth, there is also increasing inequality. Mr. Greenstreet said both the NDC and NPP have failed to provide employment opportunities for the teeming unemployed youth.
Let's move up north now. Mr. Anthony Gingong, a director at the National Health Insurance Scheme in charge of quantity assurance, has won the NDC parliamentary primaries for the Bunkurugu constituency in the northern region. Mr. Gingong beat 4 other candidates. He polled 2,542, beating his direct contender, Dr. Benson Conland, who polled 1,271 out of the total votes of 6,628. The exercise in the constituency was put on hold last year following a legal battle between the party and a former member of parliament, Numbwa Berrick. Mr. Anthony Gingong pledged to work closely with the rank and file of the party to unseat the incumbent NPP MP, Solomon Bois. He also pledged to work hard to bring development to the area when given the opportunity in the December polls. In some more stories this evening, 166 pioneer students of the University of Health and Allied Sciences (UHAS) at Ho in the Volta region have graduated. The university started in 2012 from the Ho Regional Hospital before relocating to its permanent site at Sokode near Ho. The government is to upgrade the regional hospital into a teaching hospital and become a practical training ground for students of UHAS. Napoleon Atekito reports.
A Professor John Atta Mills's vision actualized by President John Mahama. Second in command to President Mills when the late president cut the sword for this project 6 years ago. The vision bore the fruit called University of Health and Allied Sciences, UHAS, which now is the bedrock for training health professionals in Ghana. The sector is critical in Ghana's affairs as doctor-patient ratio continues to be inadequate. UHAS is also training medical support staff like nurses, laboratory technicians, physician assistants, among others, to help deliver quality health care. The government continues to expand existing hospitals and creating new ones to absorb medical graduates. Pioneer graduates from the University of Health and Allied Sciences at Ho will easily be rolled into the system, not only as employment to them, but meeting the needs of the people who cry for their services. The authorities reminded the 166 graduates of the professional oaths, which commit them to place their services above all other considerations. UHAS has also proven to be functional, with teaching staff growing from the incipient number of 10 to the present 337. 42 of the 50 projects initiated on allied campuses of UHAS are now completed, with the Key School of Pharmacy located at Keta programmed to start operating by September this year. Professor Fred Newton Binka is the outgoing Vice Chancellor of the University of Health and Allied Sciences.
We are witness to the beautiful, elegant edifices that have sprung up on this permanent site. It's unfortunate that the pessimists who do not want to associate anything good in the region still believe and propagate the untruth that nothing has happened and is happening at this site. Instead of buildings, they see forests. Instead of snakes, lizards, and other wild animals. It's my hope that such people will have a change of mind and attitude towards the development of UHAS from now on.
The chairman of the University Council, Professor Kofi Anyidoho, announced that the pro-vice chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor John Owusu Japan, will pick up the baton from Professor Binka from August. President John Mahama spoke about the placing of emphasis on technical education to match the set skills of graduates with demands of the contemporary economy. He said UHAS will receive more investment as part of steps to address the shortage in medical personnel.
Government is committed to growing these young universities and has therefore set aside a budget line in the GET Fund, annual GET Fund, to fast-track development of infrastructure and equipment in your institutions. We celebrate you, the graduating students, as well as the pioneering teaching and non-teaching staff of this university for a job well done. And I say a presidential ayiko to all of you. Let me quickly, therefore, extend my appreciation to the council and management of the university for instituting the Professor John Evans Atta Mills Memorial Lectures in his honor.
Among those honored by the university were Dr. Mrs. Nadu Mills, wife of the late President John Atta Mills, Professor Samuel Sefadede, and Professor Kofi Anyidoho. The government has pledged to provide the regions without a university their own. While some are being constructed on existing structures, UHAS in the Volta region was built from scratch. Napoleon Atukitu reporting.
The chairman of the National Peace Council, Most Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante, has stressed the need for religious leaders to have a say in governance in order to build and ensure peace. He says it is important that the church deals with intangible aspects of politics to shape the attitudes and lives of its members. Most Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante was speaking at the Kumsin Aka Enchia Memorial Lectures in Accra.
The Kumsin, Aka, and Enchia Memorial Lectures focused on the role of the Christian men in peace building in Ghana. It was organized by the Association of Methodist Men's Fellowship as their contribution to the campaign to ensure peace and stability before, during, and after this year's elections. The chairman of the National Peace Council, Most Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante, who delivered the maiden lecture, said, "Justice cannot be sought without peace," adding that peace is the fuel that drives justice. Most Reverend Professor Asante advised politicians to avoid the winner-takes-all attitude and rather engage competent persons from all sides when the need arises.
Anytime we're talking about the church's involvement with politics, we always want to look at it in terms of somebody who has taken a political appointment. But in fact, what we do in church, the message that we proclaim, as we try to shape the lives of people, we are doing politics because we are touching on the intangibles that are very crucial towards the development of our nation. There is the need to cultivate attitudes of respect and tolerance, especially this time that we are in.
As part of its 85th anniversary celebrations, Accra Academy has organized a homecoming float through some principal streets of Accra to its original location at Jamestown. The focus of the program is to bring the old and current students together to socialize and network for the development of the school.
Established in 1931, Accra Academy was the first second cycle school established at Ellen House, Jamestown, by 4 Ghanaian individuals in the then Gold Coast, now Ghana. The school was later relocated at its present site at Bubuashi. Bleo is its motto. A number of Ghana's illustrious sons, including a member of the Big Six, the late Ebenezer Akweje, and the current Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Edward Do Ajaho, attended Accra Academy. Dr. Kofi George Kondua, Mr. Samuel Niels Awulete, Mr. Godfred Naku Alima, and Mr. James Akwe Helm Ado were the 4 young, passionate men who established Accra Academy. Their aim was to provide excellent and affordable secondary education to students from poor backgrounds. Various activities, including the homecoming float, are being organized by the old boys of the school to mark the 85th anniversary. The celebrant finally converged at the former campus at Ellen House at Jamestown. This is where the Jama got to its peak. There was also a roll call to acknowledge the various year groups from the year of the school's establishment to date. The chairman of the 85th Anniversary Planning Committee, Bleo B of the 1974 group, Mr. Samuel Victor Kwao, appealed to the old students to contribute their quota to the development of the school.
I'd like to mention that we were able to attend to 2,000 residents of the community in which the school is sited, which is Bubuashi, when we had the medical screening program a couple of weeks ago. And we have come back to give to Accra Academy, but we can't give back to Accra Academy alone. And it's worthwhile giving back to the community.
The year-long celebrations will be climaxed with a dinner at the State Banquet Hall on the 3rd of September 2016. The 1988 year group held a minute's silence for Danny Nete, an old boy and a gospel musician who died recently.
In sports this evening, Abeka-based Samaria ladies are through to the next stage of the ongoing Sanford World Clinic Women's FA round competition. They beat soccer intellectuals by 2-0.
The encounter at the Accra Technical Training Center ATTC Park was one of the round of 16 matches in the ongoing Sanford World Clinic Women's FA Cup. Samaria ladies in the yellow jersey welcomed Winneba Bay soccer intellectuals. The clash was their third this season, with Samira Ladies winning the last encounter by a goal to nil. The two sides displayed some good football artistry, but could not convert all the goal-scoring opportunities that came their way. The first half ended 0-0. But from the break, Samira Ladies were more purposeful up front. They pushed for the opener. In the 57th minute, their efforts were rewarded as they were awarded a penalty. Captain Felicity Asuako scored. Samira Ladies continued to power pressure. They took command of the midfield, and in the 75th minute, Julieta Bankwa made it 2-0. Soccer Intellectuals goalkeeper Selina Amusili came to the rescue of her side as she stood tall to prevent more goals. The encounter ended 2-0. Here are reactions from the coaches.
My girls didn't play well, as I'll put it, and in football, if you get your chances and you don't utilize it, you pay the price for, and that's what happened to my team. First half, we have about 5 chances they should have scored, they couldn't. And they had theirs, and then the 2 that came their way, they were able to utilize it.
Playing Intellectuals is one of the toughest teams in our side, but they've done so much well. Our strategy worked for us. We beat them correctly, and everybody saw it for themselves that the guys, they need to be praised. They've done so much well. I give the congratulations to my dear ladies.
There were mixed reactions from the players as well.
The game was easy. When we started, our coach told everything. We should be confident of everything we did. So we came for it and we did it. Next week, we win police training.
I'm very much disappointed, but I can't do anything. So it's just a game. We've lost, that's all. I have to accept fate. I can't say something went wrong. We just did our best and we lost. But for now, home, it's a win game. That one, we give it to you, it's a win. When you come there, yeah.
Next for Samira Ladies is a crucial league tie with high-flying Ghana Police Ladies, whilst Intellectuals lock horns with Bafana Ladies.
That's it for the news. Thanks so much for joining us. Coming up shortly is Talking Point, and we are discussing voter exhibition and the re-registration exercise. To stay with us.